Hello everyone and welcome back to another one of my videos. Today we will be creating two cards. Well, totally out of my comfort zone. It's a flat card with no dimension at all. And you know how much I love all that dimension on my card. Well, I stamped a couple of flowers and leaves directly onto an A2 size note card. This design is very simple and can be used to mass produce a bunch of cards at once. Before we get started, I would love for you to take a minute to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Let us now take a look at the products that I will be using to create today's cards. Here we have the Simon's Stamp Brushed Flower Stamp Set, which has these beautiful floral images and lovely sentiments. Next, we have the Pawsitively saturated mini ink pads. Both of the stamp set and the ink pads were part of my May 2022 card kit. I'm also using simple white pre-folded note cards. Let's get started. Well, since I am making two cards, I want them to be as similar as possible, for which I will be using the stamping tool instead of using a stamp block. Before I place my note card onto the stamping tool, I placed a plain printer paper below my note card to avoid any kind of ink smudges on the back of our card. I will first stamp my sentiment. I am using the Simon's Stamp T-square ruler for aligning the sentiment strip. I'm keeping this card as simple as I can. I will stamp the sentiment using some black ink. I usually use embossing powder to add shine to my sentiments, but this time I decided to stamp the thank you sentiment twice to get a dark, crisp stamped image. I stamped on both the note cards. This is a good way to mass produce cards. All you have to do is keep the stamp where it is on the stamping tool and keep adding note cards or background panels as per your requirement. This card design would work fine for any occasion. Here I am making thank you cards. You could turn them into birthday cards, get well soon cards, and add any other sentiment of your choice. Now let's create our little bouquet. I will start with the leaves here. Here I am using blues and greens for our leaves. For the first leaf, I used this ocean shade. I stamped this image twice. Before moving on to the second leaf, I stamped the same image onto our second note card as well. Once I am done stamping, I make sure that I clean these stamps before I put them back or plan on using some other color on them, because these saturated inks are really pigmented. For the second set of leaves, I wanted to keep it a little rough and not have any crisp image like the blue one. So I stamped it only once. Once I was done stamping that, I thought that this bouquet needed a little more foliage. So I went ahead and stamped a little leaf towards the lower corner. For this little leaf also, I stamped it only once to keep it more rough. This also adds an illusion of some kind of texture to our stamped floral image, which is also the focal point of our card. Now for our flowers. I used the same exact technique of stamping the flowers twice. I wanted a more saturated look on my flowers. For the first card, I am using CITRINE. I double stamped these flowers, while for the second one, I used rose pink color. Note that I made sure that my stamps were cleaned properly before I went on to add the next color of flowers on the second card. I am absolutely in love with these Simon's Stamp Pawsitively saturated ink pads. They are really saturated and pigmented. Well, since I wanted a flat card, instead of adding any kind of embellishments, I added these dots using the dot stamp that was in the brushed flower stamp set. I used the same yellow and pink as my flowers. I scattered the dots all along my card panel just as I would have done for any kind of embellishment. Here's a look at the finished card. Well, wait, I said I would not add any dimension, but never told anything about adding shine to our cards. Here I am using my Spectrum Noir glitter brush pens to add sparkle to our bouquet. Now we can call these cards done. I love how simple these cards were to create. All the supplies that I used to create these cards will be linked in the description box below. I hope you had fun watching today's video and got inspired. Tag me on my Instagram at rp_shutterbug with fun pictures of your projects. Thanks again for joining me today. I would love for you to become a subscriber to my channel, and if you do subscribe, make sure to hit that bell icon so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a couple of other videos that you might be interested in watching. Thanks so much. See you in my next video. Until next time, stay safe.